are in round 3 of Axis and Allies World War I 1914 solo game. And Austria-Hungary is up, and they're sitting at 31 IPC. And if you recall, Russia moved out of Romania last turn, and that territory was contested. Romania has since taken that over. Of course, the additional 3 IPC will come into play this turn. So as it stands, as of now, they have 29 IPC. There was $1 left over from their prior turn. And Austria-Hungary has elected to purchase 7 infantry, 3 apiece. They're also going to purchase 1 hospital for 6 IPC, and then 1 ambulance, 2 IPC. And that'll be totaling 29 total IPC. All right, Austria-Hungary is poised to have several major engagements, so let's get to it. Okay, here's how it's going to shake out for Austria-Hungary. They've cleared their capital, and no, that's not because of impending doom. They're going to launch three major attacks. Part of the movement, which will not participate in combat, but we have moved our poison gas artillery unit and 2 infantry from Vienna over to Galicia for next turn support. But the forces that were in Galicia have moved in to attack the Ukraine, and that consists of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 infantry, 1 artillery, and then from the south, Romania, we are moving in 10 infantry as well as 5 artillery, and our friends the Ottomans, they're going to hold the position in Romania for us, obviously, to perhaps, hopefully, if we do take Ukraine this round, that'll knock off any attempt of Sevastopol to move their forces perhaps in to recapture Ukraine or even move into Romania. So anyway, that's going to be a big battle there, looks like. And of note, the Ukrainians for Russia will have a machine gun for defense. Secondly, Austria-Hungary has decided to make a push into the Mediterranean, and they have launched an all-out attack on Italian and British shipping. We've got 1 battleship, 3 cruisers, and we will roll for the sea mines accordingly. And we're going to see what kind of damage if we can do, if not, perhaps even clear the Med out of Allied Entente shipping. And then lastly, got a major battle in Venice. We moved up from Trieste, 1 artillery that was there, and also 1 machine gun unit. The machine gun unit will not be able to participate in the battle. So that's going to be established there as part of the movement for eventual defense. And then we also moved our fighter plane from Vienna over to Venice, and they will participate in combat for that particular territory. All right, we're going to go ahead and do the naval battle first, and we'll be right back. Okay, again, we've got sea mines to contend with, and we've got 4 ships for Austria-Hungary. So that's 4 ones. We'll see if we can escape the sea mines. We did. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to roll for 3 cruisers that are 3 or less. And we got 1 hit. And then lastly, battleship, 4 or less. Okay, there we go. So we got 2 hits. And the Entente is going to choose for their 2 hits. We've got 1 hit on the battleship of Italy, and then we're going to choose as a casualty the cruiser for Britain. Okay, so we're going to roll for the Italians first, and we'll roll for the battleship which is 4 or less. Okay, got a hit. And the Austria-Hungary Navy is going to take casualty for their cruiser. And we've got 2 cruisers, both for Italy as well as Britain. Both missed. All right, not looking good for the Entente. Okay, so we're gonna sink these 2 cruisers. They are at the bottom, and we are going to continue with the attack. We've got a total of 2 cruisers. Okay, we got 1 hit and 1 battleship, and we missed on that one. Okay, so we got the 1 hit. It's going to have to be the Italian cruiser. And now we'll brace for return fire. This will be for the Italian cruiser, 3 or less. Okay, they missed. And then finally, the Italian battleship got a 3. That's a hit. Okay. All right, so we're going to take 1 hit on our battleship, and Italian cruiser is sunk. And again, we've got 1 hit still left on the Italian battleship, and we are going to continue. 2 cruisers, 3 or less. Okay, that's a hit. So the Italian battleship is gone, and before they sunk, they got off a parting shot, and they missed. So what is left is 2 transports for the Allies, and both of those are sunk. They have no defense value. Okay, so looks like the Allied shipping is gone in the Med. Austria-Hungary successfully was able to break out. They waited their time and patience. They have broken out, and I'm going to put a damage marker on that battleship, and then we'll get to the next one. Okay, we got the battle for the Ukraine. And what we've got, again, for a review of Russia, we've got 1 fighter, which allows them to have air supremacy. We've got a total of 9 infantry in defense. We've got 1 machine gun unit, as you see here. And then we've got 2 artillery, and the 2 artillery are advanced because of air supremacy. The machine gun unit automatically fires at 4 or less, regardless. And then for Austria-Hungary, as you see, we've got a big stack of infantry attacking. Blue chip is 10, so we've got 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 total infantry. And we also have, looks like 5 artillery, and that'll be it. So let's get on to the rolling. All right, we are ready to roll. And earlier, actually, I think I said a couple of times, Austria-Hungary actually has 26 infantry. I keep forgetting to count this guy on the blue chip. So it's 26 total infantry, just for clarification. So Russia, they're going to have to fire their machine gun first, per house rule. And again, a machine gun will fire first, no matter. The attackers typically do fire first, but with a machine gun, that will fire first, and it's going to make a determination whether or not, 2 of these infantry that are attacking are going to be able to participate in this combat. So, per house rule, a machine gun rolls 4 or less. Okay, and that's a hit. All right, so 2 enemy infantry are chosen. Now, just to go through the remainder of that house rule, each of these infantry are going to have to roll essentially a 6. A 5 or less will cut down any infantry. And that sounds pretty steep, but what that represents is an infantry assault upon a strong fixed fire position from a machine gun. The machine gun was only second to the devastating effect of artillery. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to simulate that as best we can in this game. And that's, again, the nature of this house rule. So if indeed the infantry, though, both were to roll a 6, or 1 for that matter, under ordinary circumstances, they could then be able to get onto a field hospital, a field ambulance. Had Austria-Hungary had an ambulance, they could have brought it with them. They could have gotten on the ambulance and then go up to 2 spaces to a hospital, and then one of these guys, or at least 2, if both are roll a 6, could be saved. Okay, but the Army does not have an ambulance with them at this point, and so it's really a moot point. But we'll just kind of see how it shakes out anyway. So this is the Austria-Hungary infantry rolling. Okay, they got a 5 and a 3, even despite if they would have had an ambulance with them and a hospital already built, with a 5 and a 3, both would have been cut down on the battlefield. So just to kind of go through and show you how the house rule works. Okay, so the machine gun is finished. And what that does is that now reduces, instead of 26 attacking infantry, they now actually have 24. So that's the effect of machine guns. Okay, let's go ahead and go through Austria-Hungary's roll. And we're going to do the infantry first, and that's 24 at 2 or less. Okay. Here's 8. Okay, looks like we got 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits total. Okay. All right. 8 more. Looks like there's 2. Okay, that's it. Okay, and then the last 8. Again, rolling for the infantry, 2 or less. Looks like we've got 1 here, and that's it. So not a good opening for Austria-Hungary. All right, now we're going to roll for the artillery. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got 6 artillery. And that'll be 3 or less. Okay, there's 1 hit, 2, 3, 4. Okay, did a little better on the artillery, looks like. So in total, looks like we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 hits. So we'll go ahead and take off the 10 casualties for Russia. That'll be, there's 5 there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so there's our 10 casualties. We've got 1 artillery. All right, so we're going to go ahead and roll. And again, Russia with air supremacy, they're going to go ahead and roll for their fighter, 2 or less to strafe the enemy. Okay, that's a hit. Okay. And we'll roll for the 9 Russian infantry. And that's, again, 3 or less. 1, 2. Wow, that's it. Okay. Now for the 2 artillery, 4 or less. Okay, there's 1 hit. Wow. Not too good, looks like. Okay, so looks like this battle's going to end in a contested state after all. And we'll go ahead and we're going to take off the the Russian casualties. Ukraine's substantially weakened, no doubt. So we're going to return these back to the board. And again, the territory is going to remain contested. And now we're off to Venice. All right, one correction though. Russia, there were 2 artillery earlier. They actually got 2 hits. So there's a total of 4 hits that Russia made against Austria-Hungary in their defense. So we got 2 hits on the artillery. That was 4 total. So I took off another casualty for Austria-Hungary. And as you see, Ukraine remains contested, and it's looking pretty meager for Russia. All right, so we're off to Venice. All right, I went ahead and took care of the die rolls off camera for Venice. Actually, I began filming and I had to take a fast exit, so I went ahead and did all the die rolls. So I was not able to get that on camera, but Italy had shot down the Austrian-Hungary fighter. So as a result, they got air superiority, which advanced their artillery up to 4 or less. Austria-Hungary, they had 12 infantry, 8 artillery, and they got 8 hits that round. And Italy followed with their 7 infantry, 6 artillery. Again, their artillery was 4 or less. They established where they were able to actually get 11 hits. So they came out the victor, and I went ahead and replaced these units back on to Venice. Austria-Hungary still has the upper hand. I mean, they've got 8 artillery. They have their machine gun unit in place. Of course, on Italy's next round, likely they're going to be moving their machine gun up as well. But you know, the issue that's evolving with Italy is they're not able, because of IPCs, to be able to replace their units as quick as Austria-Hungary. So I think Italy is really becoming limited in their options at this point. And then we went ahead and placed all of our pieces that we had purchased into Vienna. Of course, we got 7 infantry there, got the hospital, and of course we got Austria-Hungary's cool-looking ambulance. All right, we are off to Russia. Okay, Russia's round 3. They've got 23 IPC to spend. They've elected to purchase 1 machine gun unit, 1 fighter, as well as 4 infantry, and that will leave them $1 left over. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the map. Russia's gotten tired of staring down Germany's damaged battleship at Sea Zone 11, so they're going to move next door, and they're going to see if they can sink it. Russia has the advantage. Even if they hit a sea mine on their battleship, they still can go ahead and make a roll. But we'll see. We'll see if Russia can go ahead and sink what's left of the German Navy. And as far as attacking moves, I believe that's going to be it. Analyzing the situation in Poland, I just think if we launch an attack right now, Germany has air superiority. They've got, and if they would have the superiority, and they're going to advance all of their artillery. Russia has less artillery, more infantry, but again, Russia's machine gun unit will not participate in an attack. So I think the best course of action, we're going to go around the map. We're going to move in neighboring provinces into Poland. The units in Moscow are going to go and support and beef up Ukraine. The units in Sevastopol, they will remain, given the amount of infantry that the Ottomans have stationed in Romania. And then the 2 units, infantry and artillery, in Tatarstan, they will move up as well into Ukraine. And so we're going to establish defensive positions. And it looks like what's going to happen is we're going to have a Moab, and it's not the mother of all bombs, but we are approaching the mother of all battles. All right, so let's get these movements made. All right, movements are made. You can see we've got more of a beefed up position in Poland as well as the Ukraine. And we are now going to roll for sea mine. Again, Russia's battleship moving into Sea Zone 11. Let's hope we can escape the sea mine. And we do, successfully. Perfect. All right, Russia's going to roll 4 or less for their battleship. And they miss. All right, Germany's defending. 4 or less. 3. Okay, we got a hit. And this is my fancy GHQ battleship. Kind of a, I'm not going to turn it over. I don't want to bend the delicate metal. So we got 1 hit there, guys. All right, Russia's going to return fire. They got nothing to lose. They want to get that battleship into action. 4 or less. And they miss. The fancy GHQ battleship may go down. All right. We'll see if Germany can do it. Nope, Germany misses. Russia, 4 or less. Boom. Got 1 hit there on the German battleship. Germany's going to return fire. And they miss. All right. That came down to the wire. So we're going to take this damaged marker, and that is now going to be Russia's. So Russia's fancy battleship, they came through in Sea Zone 11, and that is all of the combat. Again, we're doing for Russia. So we're going to settle up on our IPC. Again, Russia has been reduced to 19 IPC, and now it's off to Germany. And of course, forgot placement of units. So we got our units placed in Moscow. Now, on to Germany. All right, Germany, round 3. And they start off with 41 IPC. And Germany has elected to purchase 1 machine gun infantry unit. They've also got 7 infantry and then 1 fighter. And that'll leave them with 10 IPC, which they are going to carry over until round 4, because I believe that's when the tanks arrive. So they're going to hold their 10 IPC. All right, we're going to go to the map, and we'll see what combat's going to take place, as well as do the movements. All right, first movement for Germany. They are bringing their 2 submarines and the cruiser that was in Sea Zone 24. That'll be coming around Africa, and they are going to attack the British ships in Sea Zone 26. So that'll be the first combat round. And then the infantry unit that was in Cameroon, the Schutztruppe unit, has moved to Belgian Congo and now off to Europe. All right, as far as movements as well in Europe, we're going to take our truck. It's going to move 2 spaces back to Berlin. The units that are in Prussia are moving forward into Poland to help bolster their lines. All right. The poison gas artillery will be moving. Well, we'll move the machine gun unit to the rear first. Poison gas artillery units, both of which are going to Hanover in movement, followed by 1 infantry. Okay, and the 6 artillery will be moving to Prussia. And I'd moved these 3 infantry earlier, so we're going to move 1 here so we can keep a unit along with the artillery, and then we'll add these chips to the mix of infantry. Clean that up a bit. Okay. All right. Now, final combat and movement. The units that are in Alsace are going to be moving forward to attack Lorraine. We'll go ahead and move these in. There we go. There's 11 infantry as well. I think for purposes of this battle, we are going to add in two more artillery that will go south to Lorraine, which we'll add into the stack here. All right. And as far as moves for Germany, that will be it. So we've got two combats to take care of, and we're going to take these to the battle board. All right, and before we get to the battle board, we'll just go ahead and take care of the naval battle in Sea Zone 26. So we've got two German submarines that are attacking two or less. Okay, missed. And then finally we've got a cruiser, three or less. And we've got a hit. All right, so the Brits, they are going to they're going to take a hit on their battleship first in order to save the cruiser. Again, the transport, no defense value whatsoever. All right, so we got a three or less for the British cruiser. There's a hit. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and roll for the battleship, four or less, and the battleship missed. Okay, so we got one total hit by the British cruiser, so we will lose a submarine. All right, and we will continue with the attack. Two or less for the German sub. Okay, that's a miss. And then three or less for the cruiser, and that's a hit on the battleship. So we have sunk the British battleship, but they get a return fire, four or less, and they missed. All right, Germany comes out actually really well in that battle. So we're gonna sink the British battleship and cruiser, and then the transport as well. So these guys have no exit except for up through the Suez, but that's going to be problematic with the Ottomans breathing down. All right, that'll do it for the naval battle there. And then one point wanted to make, we're into round 3, and again with the strategy utilized in order to try to build a force to take on German East Africa without throwing in units that maybe are not strong enough, rather, to deal with the machine gun. The purpose of this house rule, and actually the way that Major General Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck conducted guerrilla warfare style in World War I throughout German East Africa, he managed to tie up much needed resources from Britain and the Allies throughout the war. And this is with this house rule, it's been playing out again for 3 rounds that forces are tied up, and there's not been a lot of movement in Africa, but it also forced the Brits to move extra troops in where otherwise they could have been, effectively sent to the Ottomans or elsewhere. So again, I do like that house rule for this reason. Now, we're not sure how this battle is going to turn out. Something's going to have to give at some point. But in any event, again, that's the one rule that I like, the house rule about, is the way that this allows Germany to tie up forces and to make Africa a bit more competitive. So I just wanted to kind of point that out, and that's pretty much how this scenario, again into round 3, has developed in East Africa. All right, so we're going to put the other units in Europe on the battle board, and we'll be right back. All right, got Germany and France on the battle board, and we are going to roll for Germany. No issues with their superiority, so just a straight roll. Germany has 15, 16, 17, 18 infantry, and they are coming in also with 7 artillery. So we'll go ahead and roll for the infantry. And we'll do 10 on this roll. Again, what we're looking for is 2 or less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Okay. Okay, we'll do the next 10. Actually, goofed on that one. There's 8. You got 18 infantry. Adding 2 more, sorry. All right, let's try the 8. All right, 2 or less. And actually only got 2 on that one. All right, not that great. Okay, so let's go to the artillery. And that'll be 7. Okay, at 3 or less. Okay, there's 1, 2, only 2 on that one. All right, well, 3 actually. All right, so we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10 total hits, and France has 12 infantry. So we'll go ahead and take these 2 stacks, which is 10, and then France will do their rolling. So we got, again, 12 infantry. So we'll go ahead and roll for the 12. And we're looking for 3 or less on France. Okay. There's a block. Well, France did fairly well, looks like. All right. And they've got 4 artillery. 3 or less. Okay. Wow, I got all 4. Good job, France. So we got, all right, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 hits total. Okay, so Germany will take off. There is 10, 11, 12. And that means this territory of Lorraine is going to end in stalemate. All right, so that'll conclude the combat for Germany round 3. We'll go ahead and get these units back on the map. No adjustment to the IPC, and then we'll place our new units on the map as well. All right, units returned back to the map. Areas contested in Lorraine. France will go down 2 on the IPC chart. And then lastly, Germany has placed their new units into Berlin. And that'll conclude round 3 for Germany. And now it's off to France. All right, round 3, France. France has 24 IPC, and they have elected, out of desperation, to go ahead and get 8 infantry to place into Paris. And we'll go ahead and get these placed onto the map. I don't think there's going to be any combat for France, but as we get to the map, I'm going to double check. All right, actually, we're going to move France, their 1 unit that was in Gold Coast, into Togoland. So they're going to take Togoland from Germany, and that gives them 1 more additional IPC and puts Germany down to 40 IPC. And then the unit here in French West Africa, we've moved into the Gold Coast as well. The other unit that was actually in Morocco has since returned back to Algeria, and the unit in Libya has moved to Tunisia. Given the change that has occurred in the Mediterranean, as well as the loss of the British ships off of the coast of East Africa. We're going to have to reposition some ships. France is going to, they're going to move, well, they're going to keep their one cruiser here in C-Zone 14, and then we're going to make some moves in Europe as well. All right, and again, due to the changes in threat level, again, the German battleship is no more, C-Zone 11. We're going to move the French battleships down here, and this is C-Zone 7. That'll be 2 moves. It's apparent we're going to have to do something with the Austro-Hungarian ships in the Med, and that'll be all the movement for the French ships. And we're going to move forward 1 infantry unit from Burgundy into Lorraine. Okay, we are going to move 1 machine gun infantry unit up to Burgundy, and then we're moving the other unit. If I can pick up the marker. All right, and this will help bolster the forces, the multinational force that we have in place. And then the 6th Infantry, we are going to move these as well into Burgundy. And these are the infantry that we purchased, so obviously they will be in Paris. All right, round 3, Britain. Britain has been ordered to bloody get it in gear. It's time to move out. we got to get these guys in action. So Britain starts out with 30 IPC. They had 1 left over from the prior round. So with 31 IPC, they're going to purchase 2 poison gas artillery, 1 truck, 2 transports, and 1 infantry. And we're going to have some combat, so let's get to the map and we'll make our movements. All right, it's time that the Indian forces move out. We are going to advance into Persia. 2-prong attack. We've got to get our forces positioned to take on the Ottomans quickly. And the machine gun unit will be moved forward, but again, only for movement purposes and for future defense. They will not obviously participate in the attack. So these will be in the attack, and we're going to take care of this off camera. Be right back. All right, well, I said we're going to take care of this battle off camera, but I just realized this is the first time that we've been able to engage the use of poison gas artillery. So for those not familiar with my house rule, I'd like to just go through it very briefly. And the way this works is following a successful attack of poison gas artillery that hits on a 3 or less, or with air supremacy, a 4 or less, up to 2 defending enemy infantry are going to be selected as casualties. And what this does, this represents the widespread ground cover effect of gas. And then a defending enemy casualty or casualties is required to roll a 6D. With a roll of 2 or less, a defending enemy casualty is able to essentially thwart the effects of poison gas by successfully donning a gas mask and then proceeding to defend normally. A roll of 3 or 4 by the defending enemy casualties panics and is either ill-equipped or unable to successfully put on a gas mask, and eventually succumbing to the horrible effects of the poison gas on the ground and dying. They'll be removed from battle. 5 or 6 is in place, and really only helpful if you have an ambulance that can get you to a hospital. In India, we do not have that present. Well, Persia doesn't have it at all, so that's kind of a moot point. So if they roll a 5 or 6 in this particular case, it's going to be the same effect. The defending enemy casualty will die from their poison gas exposure and be removed from the battle. So let's go ahead and roll. We have to actually get a 3 or less first, or we miss. So if Britain does get a 3 or less on the poison gas artillery, then we'll proceed with the impact on the casualties. So going ahead and roll first, Britain, their poison gas artillery, 3 or less. All right, got a 2. So we have made an effective hit of poison gas. And so we're going to go ahead and select defending enemy casualties 2, and we're going to roll a 6D and see what effect it's going to have upon their ability to defend or not. So Persia rolls for both poison gas casualties, and they rolled a 1 and a 6. So by their roll of 1, one unit was actually able to defend themselves from the poison gas. So they've been effectively saved. All right. So good for Persia. The guy that rolled a 6, not so lucky. So he's removed from battle. And so we did manage to get 1 casualty. And again, there will be 0 defense because he was killed immediately on the battlefield. So we'll go ahead and proceed now with the remainder of the attacks. So we'll finish up our other artillery. We've got 2 regular artillery attacking at 3 or less. Okay, we got 2 hits there. And that'll be for the 2 infantry. And then we've got 7 2 or less attacking artillery. Which, sure we got that one there. Okay, all right. So Persia has 3 return rolls, all at 3 or less. Okay, and they managed to get 1 hit. All right, so this battle's effectively over. We did manage to get, again, 1 unit removed immediately with poison gas. And we'll go on to the next battle that is on the map. All right, the next and actually the last battle is going to be in South Africa, Southwest Africa. The Brits are moving in to see if they can take out the Germans. And we're just going to go ahead and do this one on the map here. So we've got 2 British infantry that are attacking at 2 or less. And what do we get? We got a big fat goose egg. All right, 1 artillery, 3 or less. And we got 1 hit, which the Germans will take the Schutztruppe unit. And then both Germans are going to defend with a 3 or less. And they got 1 hit as well. All right, so we will take 1 away from the Brits. And, well, I just about did it again. I've got to take the artillery off because I can't just leave it by itself. So we've got one infantry that's going to be left in Southwest Africa, and 1 infantry and 1 artillery for Britain. And Southwest Africa will remain, it's going to remain contested. So we'll drop down Germany 1 IPC on the chart. And I'm going to make a few more movements, non-combat type movements for Britain. And we'll be right back. All right. One movement we're going to make, I think the stare-off competition is over. Given the fact that the Ottomans are moving into Egypt next turn. I mean, it's just, it's a 100% possibility. England, Britain's going to move their troops up to Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, again to try to muster some additional defense against the Ottomans. Of course, that's going to leave the one Italian here by himself, but they'll get a move and they can decide what to do with him. Again, just the change in the map causes for changes of strategy. So in this case, Major General Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck did his job. So we're going to go to Europe. We've got a few more movements over there. All right. So Britain has 3 transports in this stack. And there's 6 infantry that are in London. And they're going to pick these up, 2 infantry each. They're going to be transported over across the pond here to join the multinational force. And I think I'm going to have to clean this up a bit off camera. And then the other British transport is going to go one space, pick up, they're going to pick up 1 infantry, the 1 artillery unit, and deliver them back as well. So again, I'll have to clean this up. This is the infantry unit. So we've got a much stronger force there in France. The British battleship is going to remain. The 2 units floating in Sea Zone 7 from Canada have also made it to Europe, and that'll be 2 more additional that will join the fight. And lastly, the cruiser over in Sea Zone 22 is going to move to Sea Zone 14 as well to assist the French cruiser in the event, for some reason, the Austro-Hungarian ships move out of the Med. And I think that is going to do it for Britain. Adjusted the IPC chart. We have moved all of Britain's forces into Persia. Got the marker on there. And that'll do it for Britain this round. And we are off to the next. All right, we've got placement of units. We placed a poison gas artillery unit in India that we had purchased, along with 1 infantry and 1 truck. All right, and finally placed the 2 transport ships off of London and put the 1 poison gas unit in. And again, I moved the 3 infantry that were in Wales forward to London. And that's it for Britain. So we are now off to the Ottomans. Round 3, the Ottomans. All right, the Ottomans are sitting right now at 20 IPC. However, they did have 2 IPC from the last round, so 22 IPC total, and they've elected to get $20 worth of artillery. Okay, and so there's 5 artillery, excuse me, and they've got the Ottomans have got several attacks they're going to make. So let's get to the map. All right, first attack for the Ottomans. We are going to attack the 2 Russian cruisers sitting in the neighboring sea zone. We're going to be attacking with 2 cruisers of our own and a submarine we had previously purchased. Second attack will be the Bulgarians under Ottoman control. They are moving into Albania, and that was a mistake. Italy should have taken those troops, but got past me on that one. So, but nevertheless, the Bulgarians are going to go into Albania. And then lastly, the land units that were in Transjordan are crossing over the Suez going into Egypt. And they'll be taking on the minimal Italian force present. And that'll be the 3 attacks. As far as additional movements, the fighter that is in Transjordan will be going 2 spaces into Mesopotamia to beef up the lines. The units that are in Saudi Arabia, they're also going to be moving over. The Ottomans do no longer have a threat of British transports, so they're relatively safe right now, leaving Arabia unoccupied. And then we're going to be moving 2 more infantry in from Ankara, as well as a machine gun infantry unit. Okay. And let's see, as far as additional movements go, we are going to leave 2 infantry in Constantinople, and we're going to move our machine gun infantry unit to Ankara. And I do believe that is it. So let's get to the battle board. All right, we're going to do the naval battle first. We got a roll for a sea mine. So let's see if the Ottomans are lucky enough to avoid the Russian sea mine. And yes, they have. All right, so we're going to be rolling for submarine first, 2 or less. Okay, there's a hit. And now for 2 cruisers. Okay, there's a second hit. All right, cruisers are under. All right, return fire for the Russian cruisers. Got 1 hit, and the Ottomans will sink their submarine. All right, that one came out pretty good in the Ottomans' favor. Got 2 cruisers sunk. By the way, these are historical board gaming 3D sculpts. They look pretty good. They're highly detailed. See if I can get a better view on that. Like these quite a bit. Very detailed. And it's the, just so you know, it's the Borodino class. But nevertheless, they're sunk. So, all right, the Ottomans are in full control of Sea Zone 21 right now. All right, let's put the others on the battle board. We'll be right back. All right, got the Ottomans, Bulgarians going into Albania, and we've got 5 infantry rolling at 2 or less. And came up with 1 hit. Not a good start. And 1 artillery at 3 or less. All right, got 2 hits. So this will remain contested either way. All right, the Albanians, they have 4 3 or less. Okay, so got 1, 2, wow, I got 3. 3 hits. Good job, Albanians. So we'll go ahead and take these 2 out, as well as 1 more chip. And again, this territory will remain contested. Don't know if the Ottomans are going to be able to accomplish that mission. They want to call for backup. Okay, on to the next battle. All right, lastly, we got the battle for Egypt. We got 5 infantry, 2 or less. Again, no issues, air supremacy. So 5 infantry, 2 or less. Okay, came up with 2. Then we've got 4 artillery, which will be 3 or less. And there is 4. That'll do it. Okay, the Italians are going to roll back for 3 infantry, 1 artillery, all at 3 or less. And I just rolled 5. All right, let's roll over. Sorry about that. Okay, 3 or less. All right, got 2 hits. 2 hits it is. Ottomans will lose 2 infantry, and they have now secured Egypt. We'll go ahead and make all the changes on the map, just the IPC tracker, and be right back. All right, the Ottomans are back to 22 IPC on the tracker. Britain is back to 30. And we have placed the artillery, the new units in Constantinople. Egypt is firmly in the hands of the Ottomans. And of course, the Bulgarians let the Ottomans down in Albania. So that's to be continued. And that's it for the Ottomans. We are now off to Italy. Round 3, Italy. All right, Italy has 12 IPC, and the best that they can manage to do at this point in time, given their dire situation, is purchase 2 artillery. And that's a total of 8 IPC, and then 1 machine gun infantry unit for 4 IPC. And we'll go ahead and place the units on the map. All right, short and sweet. We placed our new units in Rome. We still need to keep a presence there just in the event, you know, Austria-Hungary wants to load up a couple troops, send them on around into Rome. Unlikely, but could happen. And then we moved 2 infantry units, 2 artillery units from Rome up into Tuscany. And then the machine gun infantry unit and 1 infantry moved to Venice. And so that's where we are with Italy. End of round 3. We are on to the U.S. All right, end of round 3, United States. United States, of course, has 20 IPC to spend. In this round, they have elected to purchase 1 additional transport and 1 battleship for a total of 18 IPC. They'll have 2 IPC left over, which we'll add to the next round. And we are going to go ahead and place our new units and take a look at the map at the end of round 3. All right, we've got the U.S. naval pieces placed. We've got now 2 battleships and a total of 6 transports, as well as 1 cruiser. The U.S. opted to buy an additional battleship this round to help support the 2 French battleships, and of course Britain has 1 up off the coast of England, primarily because there still remains a threat from the Central Powers. We've got 3 Austro-Hungarian naval ships in Sea Zone 17. We've got 2 Ottoman cruisers up in Sea Zone 21, as well as again 2 German units, Sea Zone 26. So Central Powers still have a means of causing some disruption of shipping. So I think that additional battleship will bring the U.S. some power once they're able to get these units across seas. And of course, next round is round 4, and the United States will definitely be in the action. All right, a lot has changed this round. There's a lot of units that have fought, taken over territories, but mostly remains contested. Lorraine is contested. Venice is still a point of contestment. And then we've got Poland. Poland is very contested, and that's a powder keg waiting to blow at any moment. The Ukraine is still contested. Albania is contested, as is Southwest Africa. So round 4 ought to bring on some some additional challenges for both the Entente as well as the Central Powers. So I think this is going to bring us to an end of round 3. And we will be back with round 4. This is the Plastic Commando. Over and out.